Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Hair Gaming. We're back here with another video covering Last War. So today we're going to go over the research tree and what each option is, what to focus on, what's important and at what times, and then when you need to pivot your focus to something else. So let's start with a quick overview of the things that we have available. So early in the beginning, we're going to have our development tree, economy, hero, and units, and as well as the garage one. Some other stuff is going to open up later, but we'll talk about those first. So development is going to cover this is going to be all of our percentage boosts to construction and research, as well as healing troops and training troops. Then we have our economy. This is going to cover our research production speed and gathering speed. So this is going to cover our coin, our metal, and our food production rates. Then we're going to have hero. This covers this expands boosts specific to hero type. That's going to be your tanks, your air, and then your missiles. Next, you're going to have units, and this is going to cover boosting your attack and defense for your troops, as well as your health and your troop load. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then last, we'll cap the intro tech trees. We'll talk about Garage 1. This is going to be all different boosts that'll cover your first primary squad. That's how each of the garages differ. Garage 1 covers your first team. Then when you get to a certain level, you'll unlock your second team, and thus you'll have the option to do Garage 2. Then you'll unlock your third team, and if you pay for the bonus fourth team, then you'll have access to that one as well. Just to kind of put a cap to the garage stuff, the difference between each garage is that Garage 1 is going to be your cheapest one that you'll have available for free. Then next is Garage 2, which has all the same upgrades that Garage 1 has, but the upgraded cost is a little bit greater because you're trying to increase the power of two teams. Then Garage 3 is going to be your most expensive one. The benefit of having a fourth garage is that, one, you get a fourth team, but the relative upgrade costs for that team are cheaper than your second garage, from what I understand. I don't keep a fourth team, but for the folks on my team who have one, that was the motivation that they explained. So what people will often do is, even though they'll have, their primary team and their secondary team, and eventually a tertiary, but they'll build up Garage 1 and Garage 4 because those are the two cheapest ones, and then they'll do Garage 2 and Garage 3 after much further down the line. But so that's kind of puts a cap on the garage stuff, but let's dig into the other things. So in the beginning, you'll be primarily focusing on development and economy. You can kind of neglect hero for quite a while because in the beginning, you're just going to have tank heroes. So the only upgrades that are going to be pertinent to you are going to be these first four that cover all those upgrades. And you can see I have those maxed, and then there's a couple bits further down the tree that I haven't quite invested in, or I've only invested in more recently. These aren't as important as some of the other stuff. At some point, they just become resources that you're not spending on some of the other more important things. They just become time that you're spending not on the more important things. So I think that you can kind of delay these for quite some time and put your focus towards some other stuff. So what's the other stuff? So your economy is going to be really important to boost early on, because you're always going to need resources. These boosts are going to increase the speed that you produce food, metal, and coin. And further down the tree, they're going to give you an extra node that you can use to generate speed, metal, and coin. So getting down to this extra farmland, extra metal, and extra mine are going to be all important. And then you can kind of pump the brakes a little bit. You can see I don't have quite many of these maxed, but I tried to push towards getting those extra nodes. Later, you can come back and drop some more points into these, but you're going to want to push towards those progressively as you kind of mosey along. Then over in development, I think this is probably one of the most important trees to kind of hit the critical parts of I won't say as soon as you can, because you do have some other priorities, but as early on as you can. Definitely when you get to that 20 to 25 range, you want to start pushing some of these upgrades, because they're not gonna do nothing except speed up the process. And time that you save through this is speed ups that you don't have to use later. So what these are going to do, the primary nodes that you want to hit, early on, you can max a lot of these pretty easily. As you get further down the tree, they're going to get a little bit more expensive, but you also do get an extra barracks by pushing through this tree, which is going to be really good. But these nodes here, where your fast builder skills and your research enhancement skills are going to be the ones that you're going to want to research, especially because they're going to increase the amount of time, or they're going to increase the boost to speed that you get for construction and for research. And you're going to be doing builds for a long time. You're going to be doing tons of research for a very long time. Those are going to be a big help to you to reduce the cost that it takes. So now, moving down a little bit, we'll talk about units a bit. These are going to cover your upgrades for attack, defense, health, and troop load. So one of the things that people often misunderstand, troop load covers how much your troops can carry. So what that determines is when you attack an enemy base and you get resources from attacking them, the greater your troop load, the more stuff that they can carry to return home with. So that's what that mechanic means and what it does, at least to my understanding. What I got, some degree down into this tree and then kind of stopped and didn't really do much with it to focus on some other stuff. But you can return back to it, when you have a little bit more leeway when you're working after you're done working on your alliance duel. So let's look at some of the later stuff that you unlock in the tech options. So you have your alliance duel, which is going to be critically important, and I'll say it's one of the most important things that you need to focus on when you get the option to do so. When you have the option to put stuff into your alliance duel, you pretty much have to put the effort into maxing out that tree, and we'll get into why. So the other option that will become available later on is the inner city truck, which is not that important, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. Then we have special forces, which is going to be very important. Siege to seize, hard to say, not critically important, and defense fortifications, which is similarly not very important, at least in terms of when you're. I'll add the caveat to that. Not very important until you get your T10 troops. But let's talk about our first major investment, the Alliance Duel. So, the Alliance Duel pertains to upgrades that are all focused around your Alliance Duel and your weekly Alliance Duels. So those VS battles that you engage in every week with another Alliance, all this stuff is going to be related to that. The two most important nodes that you need to unlock ASAP are going to be your advanced rewards, which is going to give you your tier 2 boxes. Those are your boxes 4 to 6. And then the super bonus, which is going to give you your tier 3 chests, which is going to be 7 to 9. So what those do is they unlock more bonuses for you so that you, every day during each battle, you can get more badges, you can get more consumables, more unlockables, all that sorts of stuff, things that you're going to need. And the sooner that you get them unlocked, the sooner that you can get access to being able to unlock them every single day of the challenge. So sooner is better. So that's why I say that this is one of the most important trees to max out as quickly as you can. Hitting all of these as max is going to increase the amount of points that you get for each of those activities. So that's radar tasks, that's building stuff, that's researching stuff, that's building troops, attacking the enemy, everything. So you're going to want to max out this tree once it becomes available, around your 15 to 20 something range, or whatever the level bracket is. This is going to be your most important thing that you need to be focusing on. So everything I said about development and economy and the units and all that stuff, everything is superseded by the importance of maxing your alliance duel tree. I would highly recommend grabbing the second tech center to help boost up your research speed. It's going to be a big help. It's not terribly expensive. I can't remember how much it is. It's maybe $10 or it's $20, but it's a huge boon. Allows you to do things basically twice as fast. I would highly recommend picking it up. That'll help you in maxing your alliance duel. Now, once that's maxed, I'll talk about inner city. Well, actually, I'll talk about special forces first. So, special forces, basically, all the stuff in here is going to be boosts to your troops, your damage, your defense, your HP, your recovery speed, how many people you can put in your hospital. At least there's 2 nodes for that. And then everything in this culminates down in being able to unlock training level 10 troops. It is a tremendous and expensive grind. It takes a lot of time. It takes a ton of resources. And the most important thing, which I misunderstood, the most important thing is that in order to get to level 10 troops, you have to max these last 4 nodes down here at the bottom. That's going to be your advanced protection, your HP boost 3, your attack boost 3, and your defense boost 3. All 3 of those have to be, all 4 of those need to be at level 10 in order for you to be able to unlock the Unit X research, which will grant you level 10 troops. I misunderstood early on, and I thought that because these had to be level 10, that meant that the entire tree, from soup to nuts, from top to bottom, had to also be level 10 as well. But that's not the case. So I spent more resources than I needed to early on to kind of max those out. Don't need to do that. You just have to do these last 4. So to that end, so why do I recommend not prioritizing the intercity truck? So you'll see I have some reasonable investment in here, which is because I was going along with the special forces stuff, and I realized how long it's going to take. So I decided to just throw a couple of research points over here and research badges. And the reason that I say it's not that important is because these do require badges as well. They don't take that many, and I had a substantial sum, but I stopped once I got down to the reindeer sleigh ride, which if you've been attacking trucks, you've probably seen, or you will eventually see, a couple of reindeer sleigh, plural, moseying about. But it is a very, very expensive investment. It doesn't take long to research, but it does take, for me, I have 19,000 badges. It takes pretty much all of them in order to do that research. And if I do that, then that means that I can't invest towards my T10s. And having T10s is a much, 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 much more important research goal than having the occasional sleigh to give you a little bit better rewards on some of your trucks. Not nearly as important. So the last 2 are siege to seize and defense fortifications. So this one I don't think is very important, at least until you get your T10s. A lot of the stuff here pertains to giving you an extra drill ground, which is nice. However, for me, I rarely can hit full drill grounds with my current troops. I think I can hold around 25,000 or 26,000 troops, and sometimes I'll hit that, but usually the reason that I'm losing a battle is not because I'm running out of troops. I have lost a couple where I just can't continue to engage against the enemy just because I just don't have the people. And maybe that's happened twice in the length of the game. Usually, because I'm not level 30 yet, because I don't have T10s, if I'm getting beaten, it's because somebody catches me off guard who's a little bit more powerful than me. Maybe my troops are away and I can't teleport, and they'll just continually attack me and burn through a whole bunch of my troops. So having more troops isn't necessarily the solution in that kind of scenario. Having another drill grounds isn't going to help me that much. And as a result, I deprioritize this tree at least until my T10s are done, because these do also take badges in order to research. Now, defense fortifications, on the other hand, at least warrants a little bit of investment at the beginning. Why? Because the difference is that this first node in this tree is you get an extra hospital. These two research options, C's to C's and defense fortifications, become available once you hit 40% research in your special forces tree. And I recommend that you definitely do want to grab that extra hospital the moment that you can, because having an extra hospital results in at least around maybe 1,800 to 2,000 plus extra troops that you can hold once you get attacked or once you get burned down. And it's going to happen. Somebody will always catch you off guard, or somebody will always be stronger. And being able to come back into the fight with 7,000 troops instead of 5,000, or 8,000 troops instead of 6,000, is much better, and will leave you being able to stay in the fight for much longer that way. So definitely recommend at least grabbing the first node of defense fortifications once it becomes available, and then you can probably deprioritize the rest of this and just focus on your T10s. The reason I say that is, yes, the investment is really small for defense fortifications. Like, that's not a lot of badges, that's not a lot of money. Not at all. However, the cost of pushing towards T10s is astronomical. It's so high, and just at a certain point, you just have to put like everything you have into trying to unlock that. So that's why I put a really big stake in pushing towards T10s. It takes a long time to push down to the bottom of the tree. It takes a long time to invest in these bottom four, and it takes a long time to get the resources to push into that final build, or the final research. It's over 500 million coin to get there, just for that one research alone, not to mention the cost that you spend to get there. So that's why I prioritize getting to T10s. So for me, just to recap, these big priorities are going to be getting the Alliance duel maxed, hitting your Garage 1 goals, boosting up your economy and your development to a reasonable degree, probably double back after your Alliance duel is done, boost up some units a little bit, and then just go full steam on the special forces as much as you can. And if you really want to, you can dip your toes into the inner city trucks along the way. But that's the stuff that I focus on at the various levels. That's kind of what I think that you should be prioritizing, and all that sorts of stuff. So again, if this video was helpful, if you got some good tips out of it, feel free to drop a like, feel free to subscribe. We're going to be doing more stuff as we go forward. But thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and have a good one.